Is anybody else getting the sense that Dana White doesn't want Conor McGregor to come back and fight in the UFC again? Because that is exactly the vibe I've been getting from him in the last few interviews that he's done. Every time he's getting asked a question about Conor McGregor, he's giving us a laundry list of excuses as to why Conor is not coming back.
Number two is Conor McGregor doesn't need the fucking money.
Even though Conor, more than once on Twitter, has made it very clear he wants to fight in 2024. On New Year's Day, he said that he was coming back for International Fight Week in June. When I first heard this, of course, I thought, oh, he's faking us out. He's going to be the guy on UFC 300. A few weeks later, Conor McGregor tweeted, to seal the deal, I'll come on UFC 300. And we've had no confirmation of that being the case as well. And every time Dana is asked about it, he really kind of just goes off on a tangent, basically saying that Conor hasn't talked to us about anything.
Well, I don't know that. Only Conor knows that.
Well, okay, that's what I'm asking. So do you?
Conor's the one. I mean, these are questions for Conor McGregor, not me.
That Conor McGregor is not healthy enough. He's still injured. He's not coming back. He's doing movies. He's got money. He's not in camp. All of these things. He's giving us excuse after excuse as to why Conor McGregor isn't ready to fight again. And this leads me to believe either one of two things are happening. Either number one, they are trying to fake us out yet again by making us feel like they're so far away from a deal happening. That when they announce Conor McGregor, the fans are going to go wild. Or, number two, we are in a situation where the UFC just doesn't have a place for Conor McGregor anymore. Let me know in the comments if you think that either of these are the case. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ultimate Punching, the Ultimate MMA channel. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Before I begin the video, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, it helps the YouTube algorithm and it helps grow the channel. So, why would the UFC not want Conor McGregor back? Out of all of their pay-per-views, out of their top 10 selling pay-per-views, I believe he is responsible for 8 of them. He was the dance partner for 8 of those pay-per-views. And I think it's getting to a point right now where the UFC is starting to look at things in a more, from a more legitimate standpoint. Like when Conor was at his peak, for them, they were in almost survival mode, right? They were trying to become a thriving business, a leader in the space. And so every time they could get a Conor McGregor fight, it would do huge numbers of pay-per-view. It would give them a lot of cash, a lot of money in the bank, right? A lot of revenue. But now, they've kind of got enough star power that they can keep the lights on, they can keep the business moving, they can continuously thrive without Conor. And I think Dana White looks at this, I think Hunter Campbell, I think all these guys kind of look at Conor McGregor coming back and they see a few problems. Number one, Conor's only going to come back for a one-off fight. This isn't something they're going to be able to repeat and add to their business plan, their numbers, their projections. Conor McGregor is going to come back in 2024 or when he came back against Poirier, and there's no guarantee he's going to fight again after that. Right? He gets injured. He's got a lot of money. He's this, he's that. There's no guarantee we're going to see him again. And that throws a lot of issues in place for Dana White, who is trying to essentially build a sports league here, right? They're trying to become a legitimate competitor, a legitimate contender with some of the other major sports out there. They were wanting as many fans as possible to tune in. And in order to do that, they have to have a level of legitimacy, right? I think that's how they think, because that's how I'm thinking right now, is that if they bring Conor McGregor back, he is going to be a headliner, right? But that means that a title fight is going to be bumped, or this is going to be a card without any title fight. And they've got several divisions where they've got to get through multiple title fights in a year. So it puts everything on the back burner in order to cater to this one fighter, which back in the day, that made sense because he made them so much money. But now, Conor McGregor may almost be a liability because of the fact that he's going to put everything else on hold for him to come in and headline whatever event he's going to headline. There's no guarantee you're going to get a second fight out of him. And if he comes in and does something where he beats Michael Chandler, the expectation is going to be that he goes right in and gets an immediate title shot, which a lot of people are going to look at that and say, I don't think we want to do this because there's so many people ahead of him that are more deserving of a title shot in the lightweight division or the hundreds or the welterweight division or whatever the case may be. Am I wrong? Do you guys think I'm wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. So they look at this and say, yeah, like we could have this one fight that makes us a bundle of money, but the drawback is it takes away from our legitimacy. It takes away from the flow of the different divisions, the different competitions that are going on throughout the UFC. And I'm assuming that Conor McGregor just costs way too much. I'm assuming that on one of these pay-per-views where Conor McGregor is the headline, not only do they have to pay Conor McGregor a ton of money, but they probably also have to pay the guy who is co-starring, joining him in the dance, if you will, a ton of money as well. And you have to look and see who else on that card they're going to have to give a bunch of money to as well, because it's a Conor McGregor card, it's going to sell more. So are they going to give them the standard rates? Are they going to bump it up a little bit because it's going to do so much in revenue? Right? Again, I'm talking out of my ass here, right? About all the different scenarios I'm thinking about why Conor McGregor might actually be a liability to the UFC as opposed to the asset that he once was. On the other hand, of course, you have the fans. Conor McGregor is the superstar of the UFC, the biggest draw the sport has ever seen. Maybe the biggest individual star we will ever see again in the UFC. He was in the right place at the right time with the right set of skills and the right talent on the mic, the right ability to just stir up a passion from the people who are watching, whether that be negative or positive, right? And so I feel like Dana White is in a situation right now, and Hunter and all these guys are in a situation where the UFC doesn't really need Conor McGregor anymore, right? Conor McGregor is 35 years old. He is just about done. Best case scenario, what? You get 1, 2, maybe 3 fights out of him? Assuming he wants to be there. So how does that work? He fights Chandler, gets an immediate lightweight title shot? I don't think so. I don't think that's what they want, right? I mean, again, it could be big business, but the more likely scenario is because Conor's been so inactive, because he doesn't train as sharply, because allegedly the guy's got a substance abuse issue, you're going to have a situation where he gets his ass whipped by Michael Chandler again. And he got his ass beat by Poirier twice. And then before that, he got his ass handed to him by Khabib. The only guy he's beaten since 2018 is Cowboy Cerrone, who is retired. Really and truly, if Conor McGregor is going to come back, and they are going to do something for the fans, I think from what I've heard unanimously, everybody wants to hear Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 3. That's the only thing unanimously among so many fans that people want Conor McGregor to come back and see. But everybody else, when they say Conor's coming back to fight Chandler, people are like, meh. Okay, what does that mean? If he wins, does he get an immediate title shot? A lot of people think that, but a lot of people also say, well, that's BS. And if the UFC does that, they are going to lose a ton of respect and legitimacy from sort of the larger sports community, right? So that's kind of my thinking in a nutshell, is that now Conor McGregor is more of a liability than he is an asset to the UFC, in the sense that, sure, he can still draw in a huge pay-per-view. Sure, he can still draw in a huge payday for that one night. 100%. There's no question in my mind that everybody's going to tune in to watch Conor McGregor's comeback. But we have to ask ourselves, like the UFC is probably asking themselves, long term, is it worth him coming back and disrupting the flow of everything? Is it worth him coming back where we have to cater to him? Is it worth the huge amount of expense we're going to have to put out? The monthly pay-per-view numbers aren't huge, but the averages are in that $300,000 to $400,000 buy range, and that doesn't include how many viewers they're getting. So it looks to me like the UFC is thriving without Conor. They're better than they were 3 years ago when he last fought. And I think the whole reason why Dana is really trying to avoid naming a specific date is either, one, he's faking us out and going to announce a Conor McGregor fight, within the next few days, saying, oh, here's what's actually happening. Or he's trying to sort of push it off and be like, you know what? We probably aren't going to see Conor again. Even though he said he wants to fight, I don't think that's something the UFC is as interested in as they once were. Do you agree with me? What do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? I think I'm right. Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for stopping by.